We're at 12,488 feet. So that's not small change.
Woo! I just barely got the tent set up before the bottom fell out.
There's the trail down. Let me zoom you in on Laserhead. Look at that.
You're a Texas backpacker, which I am really interested in because having lived in West Texas for the last 20 years or so, public land is really hard to come by, and it's hot in the summer. So tell me a little bit about where in Texas you like to go, and some of the other trails that you've done more recently.
Well, I did a couple of years ago. I did the Lone Star hiking trail, and that's not a long trail, but that was my first experience at doing any kind of a long trail. And it was an experience because there's not a whole lot of water down there. And I had to cancel that trip for a day because we had just had a rare ice storm and everything was froze over. So wasn't even going to be able to get down there to start that trail with my buddy Eli until the ice melted. Well, it rained as it melted, and so that turned out to be a trail that February that went from drought type environment to an environment like the like the Florida Trail. I mean, it was Eli had an injury and had to back out early, but I continued on, and most of the trail was hiking through water up to my knees.
Wow.
So, and it has a real Florida-ish feel to it with all the palmetto trees and stuff. So
yeah,
that was really a good hardship break-in trail for me to get really comfortable with, I guess, type 2 fun.
Yeah.
And so I haven't done many long trails. I've done that. I've started the Ouachita Trail, but had something come up each time. First time we went to Arkansas, I slipped on the trail and re-injured my knee.
Oh, no.
It swole up huge. And after a couple of weeks, finally got past that. And then the next time we went out there earlier this year, I had a tooth issue come up, so I got knocked off that. Another long trail, which wasn't really a long trail, was the Buffalo River Trail.
Okay, where's that?
That's also in Arkansas and kind of cuts across the Ouachita Trail, long trail there. So it's kind of in the Ozarks.
Okay.
So
that's really pretty too.
Oh yeah, it's in northern Arkansas, close to the Missouri border. Really pretty area through that. But other than that, most of what I do is just backpack. And you're right.
Okay.
Very little public land here, but I'm lucky enough to have about a 23,000 acre grasslands, the LBJ grasslands that are 60 miles from here, my house in Fort Worth. And I'm always there. I go up there every chance I get. It's where I do shakedown hikes, test out gear. I'm getting ready to go up there next month, and it's going to be hot, but I have an annual trip I do there for 3 to 4, maybe 5 days for Public Lands Month. It's just something I traditionally like to do. Enjoy our local public lands.
I grew up around public land here in the Midwest, and when I moved to West Texas, I think that was one of the things that I really struggled with, was just not having access to a place that I could just go. Free public land that you can go to and you can camp, you can backpack, hike, just to get away. And reconnect with nature. I really missed that in West Texas.
Yeah.
That was tough.
I mean, Texas has a lot of beautiful state parks, but
it does.
I'm a dispersed camper. I mean, when I'm
Yeah.
backpacking, and none of these state parks are really conducive to that.
Yeah.
They give you an area, you have to reserve for it. But now Big Bend, I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's a place I love to go. The last time I was out there, I did the Outer Mountain Loop, and I've done a couple of
Okay.
other backpacking trips there. I mean, you don't, when you're down out of the Chizos in the desert, you can kind of disperse camp instead of set camping areas you have to reserve. They have a
Right.
perimeter that you have to kind of know where it's at and camp anywhere within that zone. Zone is what they call
Yeah.
it. And I love that desert backpacking. It challenges you because you got to find out, are the springs running? Are there
Yep.
not? Otherwise, you've got to count. If you're going on a 4-day trip, you got to carry all your water for that 4 days, about a gallon a day. But I've never done it. You're not going to do that in the summer.
Yeah. I love that park. That actually became one of my go-to spots. But
It's so diverse out there because in
it
the
is. Yeah.
in the Chizos, you can find aspen trees.
Yeah.
And last time I was out there was the year before last, and I went with a backpacking buddy of mine, and they had a front come in. This was like in January. We had up to 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and the temperatures dipped into, well, down to 19 degrees.
Wow.
That makes it cold.
Yeah, it does.
His filter even froze up on him, and he was protecting it. But there's always something out there.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of more day hikes out there than I have backpack trips. But I'm looking forward to getting back out there again. Maybe this fall. I don't know if I'm not going to get my knee situation scheduled before then. I think I can still pull that off at least a day or two up into the Cheez. But other than that, I mean, that's why I go to New Mexico and Colorado. There's maybe only one or two wilderness areas in Texas that I know of. Well, maybe three if you count the Guadalupe Mountain Wilderness, and that's about it. There's a small one down in Sam Houston National Forest that the Lone Star Trail goes through, but
right.
And nothing beats wilderness backpack.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Do you prefer to be down in the trees, or do you like the views on the top of the mountains, or are you half and half?
I'm half and half. That's why I kind of love long trails, because you're going to get a little of both.
Yeah, definitely. I like the Colorado Trail, I think, because of that. You do get a little of both. You can expect to get downhill. That's the reward of all the climbing, which you having trouble with your knee, you probably hate the downhills, but some of those downhills on the Colorado Trail are pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's that descent down to the Animas this year. I knew it was going to be tough, but that's what made me decide to end it for this year at Celebration Lake. For one thing is I had a real quick ride out back to town from there, but I was going to be faced with that long downhill from the La Platas into Durango.
Yeah.
And I only have 53 miles left on that, so.
Yeah, you're really close.
Yeah. I didn't, in 2024, you'd never been able to tell me that I would end up segment hiking this after doing or knocking out 340 miles in one swoop. I mean, I was just so close. I was sitting right there in Lake City. And
so what year was that?
24. I had decided, I knew I was going to do the trail. I did my shakedown hike in the San Juans in the fall of 23. I was like, I'm gonna put this off for 2024 because it was the anniversary of the Colorado Trail. It was their 50th birthday, and I just thought it'd be neat to do it then. Well, that's why Jared did it
Oh,
again.
that's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
he's
was
got
that the trip that he did with the
the
style of gear that they would have used back
50
then?
years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. In
that was
fact,
really cool.
I was kind of in touch with him and Details, Patty. At the same time I talked to you in Lake City, Jared was 2 weeks behind me, and
Okay.
he was trying to talk me into just sitting around Lake City for 2 weeks until he caught up to me.
Yeah.
And we were thinking at the time I could just ice my knee. I mean, I didn't have a deadline. I would have just been. My first concern was pumping money into a place to stay there, but Patty offered to come and get me at Spring Creek Pass and kind of follow her along with him, and until I'd be able to hike again. But
Yeah.
anyway, I realized I just couldn't put any weight on it. I didn't have any idea that my knee was as bad off as it turned out being. But yeah, I would have loved to finish that hike with him.
Yeah. That would have been fun.
Yeah,
Jared's a funny guy. I
yeah, he
you would have
is.
you would have been laughing the whole way, I think.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I like to cut up and joke on trail anyway. That was the best part about the hike in 2024 is I met up with one of my good friends now, but not at the time. I met him at the Waterton Trailhead, and then we didn't kind of link up till maybe 3/4 of the way through Waterton Canyon. Same kind of hiking style, and ended up hiking with him all the way to Salado when he got off, and he too is struggling a little bit to get back to the trail and finish his hike, but he'll get it done. Yeah, that's
I didn't think I was ever going to finish, and I finally did. So I think there's hope for everybody. It took me
oh
7 years.
oh yeah. Well, I'm 65, and I believe Moose Pop in 2024 was 73, and he was going strong.
The friend of mine who I think picked you up in 24, he picked me up when I got off, I think in 22, I guess it was, because Debbie was with me. Anyway, he had just turned 80.
Yeah,
And I asked him what he was going to do to celebrate. He said he and a friend were going to go climb a 14er. And I remember asking him, I said, well, what advice do you have for us young ones who want to keep moving? He smiled and he said, well, keep laughing and keep moving. And everybody I talk to who's older and still backpacking says the same thing. Keep a
mm-hmm.
positive attitude and keep moving your body.
You got to keep moving. I mean, I used to walk every morning at least 3 to 10 miles and did that almost every day. I would take Sundays off just to rest. But I mean, since 2019, I really can't do that right now with this brace. I mean, it just injure it farther.
Yeah.
And possibility of knee lock. But I'm still able, I go to the gym every other day. So that kind of helps keep me active, keeps the muscles around my knee and my legs in shape. Well, I mean, that's what I was doing to get me back on the trail all 3 years. But it'll keep me for at least to still be able to backpack until after I do PT. I'm not worried about getting out there with a pack at all. I mean, I've got my knee situation. I mean, kind of demanded I get my kit dialed in and, get down to at least 17 to 18 pound base weight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not.
I feel like for a lot of people, that's what makes us go more to the expensive ultralight gear. Like it's not necessarily that we want the latest ultralight gear. It's that something that's happened, an injury or just aging in general, it sort of is the impetus behind buying that gear. I just read something earlier today about they were talking about how backpacking has become so much about the ultralight gear nowadays that people forget about what the point is in the first place, why we go out there. And I kind of think maybe it's just our generation, but I kind of think the ultralight gear serves a purpose. It's not just that everybody's jumping on, what's popular. It's a means to an end at some point.
I mean, I had already purchased everything, my first ultralight stuff and everything before I even went on a hike that was over 100 miles. I was using a pretty good size Osprey pack, and this was about 8 or 9 years ago. And I didn't worry about weight.
Yeah.
It was just back. In fact, it was to the grasslands, and I just wanted to be comfortable, and that was okay. Yep. But I was going out there for 4 and 5 days, so I was carrying a heavy load and doing about 40 or 50 miles out there each time I would go out there. I was ending one of my hikes, I think it was in October, and I'd taken my pack off to go do my business off trail. And I went to put that heavy pack back on, and I stepped back with my right leg into, I guess it was a gopher hole.
Oh, no.
And with that pack halfway on, it caused me a turn, and I heard the pop. A lot of pain. I had 4 miles left to hobble back, but yeah, I've always had a high tolerance of pain. So yeah. I dealt with it. Next morning, it felt better. 2 days later, it felt better. And then the pain just went away. I was still doing all my walks every morning, had no problems with it. Went out on a backpack trip, and it was starting to bother me again. So somebody told me just get kind of a supported knee sleeve and put on. And that did me fine for years. And on the 300 plus miles I had done on the Colorado Trail. But after all that ordeal in 2024, and I went to the knee specialist, I did MRIs, all that stuff. Well, at first x-ray said, well, you have a fractured tibia and possibly a bone spur in your knee. And there may be something going on there with your, I can't remember what it's called, that cartilage there. Anyway, a tear. And when I finally saw my knee specialist, he says, no, it's none of that. He said, you don't have any cartilage in your knee anymore. He said, when you had that original pop in your knee and that pain, you should have just come in to the doctor and had it looked at. He said, meniscus. You tore your meniscus, and you've done all these miles over the years on it, and it just disintegrated. So now you have arthritis that's in that. And so, you don't have any options except to have a knee replacement. I chalk a lot of that up too with my high tolerance of pain. It's got me kind of in trouble before.
Yeah.
I think it was 2021, right after COVID. I went up with Suzanne to do a long hike in kind of to the backcountry in Rocky Mountain National Park. And that was in May of that year. So I really didn't even think about the snow line after we got, I think it's called Glacier Lake that we were going to. And I got up there, and if I'd known there was going to be still that much snow, I would have brought some micro spikes, but I didn't. Long story short, slipped, had my trekking pole, it caught between my arm, under my arm and my rib cage. And man, I saw stars. I thought I had dislocated my shoulder. So we self-rescued out of there because the pain was bad, but it wasn't too bad. So I went on for a week and a half. Before we got back into town, I think it was in Loveland, I stopped at a local Walmart and bought a sling and just put it in that sling and went on for 2 weeks on our vacation and just dealt with it. By the time we got back here, my whole side and arm was so black and blue. Still, it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks later that I finally went to the doctor, and they did x-rays, and my doctor called me all panicked and shouting, "It's broke! Your arm!"
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, okay.
And
Well,
you had no idea.
I had no idea. It was starting to get better and everything, and wasn't
Oh,
starting to have
wow.
much pain anymore. And they sent me to a specialist and found out it had fractured right under the head of my upper arm, fractured in 3 places. But
Oh my
they
gosh.
said, you're lucky because it's already healed. There's already it's already getting that mushroom type heal on that. So it won't have to be re-broke. So
Well, that's good. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
just gave me. So you did the right thing, putting it in a sling, and
I
gave
was
me.
just gonna say, you knew
Gave
what
me
to do.
she gave me another one that had Velcro wrap around it to keep it immobilized. That was it. But yeah, it's when you have a high tolerance of pain, you often don't listen to your body.
Yeah, it
I'm
sounds like
stubborn.
there's a lesson here for those listening.
Don't do what I do. It's
Don't be like Jerry.
it's cheaper to just go into the doctor for anything and be a wart.
Yeah.
Wart your doctor.
Or maybe it sort of becomes this idea that you have to almost listen to because like your knee popping, that's probably not how it's supposed to sound. So that,
Does
knowing
that way
what
all
that
the time
sound,
now,
what
though.
what a good sound and what a bad sound is that our bodies make, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
in Rocky Mountain, there when I was coming back down, people on the trail were looking at me, and I didn't have a Garmin with me, and there was someone there. They wanted to push the butt contact a ranger, and that was something I was not going to put up with. I told
Yeah.
people that were going down, I said, when you get down to the trailhead ahead of me, do not contact any rangers. I do not need rangers or search and rescue to come up
Yeah.
here and tote me down this mountain.
Right.
I think that was when I only had like 4.5 miles or something like that to get back to the
Oh, that's nothing.
yeah, that was nothing. That was nothing. Especially when you think it's just dislocated.
But along that same topic though of tripping and falling on your trekking pole, did you read the article about a guy that he stabbed himself?
Yeah,
It, like
yeah,
went through his. Oh my gosh.
yeah. My case was I just slipped on the ice that was under the snow, and as I fell, holding on the trekking pole, it went up under my arm, and I just landed on it. And I mean, it was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon where you set up these stars circling around.
Yeah.
And Suzanne's trying to come up there and get me. I said, sit down. Do not come up here. Do not come up here, because she would have fell too. So after I got my sense to me and I kind of felt around and whatnot, I just slid on down the slope on my butt where I got to a clear ground and then stood up and beat it the heck out of there.
Wow. So tell me about some other close calls you've had, whether injuries or have you had any close calls with wildlife?
No, not really.
Any with storms?
Oh yeah, storms. I'm one living in Texas. You like to go out and backpack or hike when it's not 115 degrees like it is right now.
Reasonable.
So, yeah, I do a lot of shoulder season trips, fall and all winter. I do stuff all winter. But my last trip to Big Bend, when we were doing the Outer Mountain Loop, weather was supposed to be fine and everything. And our first day where we were going up into the Chizos, we'd heard that some weather was going to come in, but wasn't expecting 80-mile-an-hour winds with temperatures in the teens. And that's what the weather dealt us. And we dealt with that for 2 days until we dropped down off the East Rim on the Dotson Trail. And then the temperatures were like in the upper 80s and hot. That was a challenge. I mean, with 18 to 19 degrees with 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts, that was something I've been backpacking in 9-degree temperatures, but not with wind, not that type of area. So it was definitely a learning curve. I mean, we were okay when we camped our first night. It was on the East Rim, and our camp was down off of the rim back into the Chizos. So we just hunkered down. Of course, your tent flaps all night long, and the wind
Yeah.
coming over the rim sounded like the jets at the airport. But on the Lone Star Trail, it was a fluke year, and that was in February. It had an ice storm that delayed our trip. Real bad ice storm for Texas. That everybody was kind of stranded at home. So anyway, when we got to the Lone Star Trail, everything had thawed out, but it had started raining the night before. By the time we got on trail, it was like pictures I've seen of the Florida Trail. I mean, we're hiking in water for miles and miles and miles, basically off and on that whole 100 miles in water up to our knees. Temps on that water was in the 30s that we were hiking through. So, yeah, it's always something.
I was thinking, trying to remember when I started following you, and I think it might have been when you were doing the Lone Star hiking trail, because I had thought about doing it for a while, and I think I watched your trip of it, and the Wander Women also did that trail, Christy and Annette, and I think I watched their trip, and I think the reason I decided not to do it was because there were stray dogs on it in one part, and I thought, well, that's probably not ideal with my dogs. So
by the time I had gone out there and hiked it, the sheriff's department had finally got around to making them put up kennels.
Oh, really?
They were going to be if they were going to keep him in the front yard. Yeah, there were like 4 or 5 kennels. I mean,
okay,
fences out there. So I had no problem at all.
That's good to hear.
About that section. Yeah, I watched a trip video from I don't know if you know him, Matt Hinkst and his girlfriend Jen Tater.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he has a channel called Church of the Masochist Hikes. He went down there and did that trail, and the dogs almost ate him up.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and I was doing it that not long after they did it. I think they did. Well, I did it the next February. They did it over Christmas of that year before. There was a bad outbreak of noro, and nobody knew how people were getting it, whether it was in the water. I don't know. I would lean to it being in the water out there because, man, it's a really bad leave no trace ethics.
Really?
Texas.
That's disappointing.
When I'm griping about it on my channel, it's always some trail down here. Not
crazy.
It didn't happen other places, but I don't see it in Colorado, and I don't see it in New Mexico. I'm sure there is.
True. I've never seen it along the Colorado Trail. The only thing I've seen on the Colorado Trail, and I think that it was someone who just didn't know any better. They thought they were helping the next person who camped in this site by leaving them trail mix. And
oh yeah, I've seen you see places where trail magic.
Yeah,
people don't think about. I mean, even when you leave, there's something for you to put your trash in there. If they leave a bucket or something like that, they're never critter proof.
Yeah,
is what it is. Down here, the only place we have to worry about bears is in Big Bend.
Yeah,
and in some places, maybe in northeast Texas, where they may come in from Arkansas. But yeah, it's the only time down here that I will sleep with my food in just a food bag in my tent with. You got to worry about little bears.
The little critters.
The little critters.
Yep.
But, down here, wild hogs, coyotes, maybe. But
that was something that I wasn't used to. In West Texas, the feral hogs are pretty bad.
Yeah, they're bad here.
Copper Breaks State Park. I've camped there a couple of times, but the second time I heard feral hogs both times, but the second time they were really close. And and, you know, not having grown up anywhere near feral hogs, that kind of freaked me out. I was just laying in my tent listening and hoping that they didn't come any closer.
They'll get, I've seen them get pretty aggressive if you kind of get between them and they're young.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I've seen the moms kind of charge before, or if they're startled. They got some pretty good sized teeth and tusks. So,
Yeah, I don't think I want to get anywhere near them.
No.
And then, of course, Caprock Canyon State Park has the free roaming bison, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I really like that state park. I was out there last November on a YouTube meetup that we do every November with Texas YouTubers. This is my first time out there, and
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I was really impressed. It was dry, but yeah, it's really impressive to come up on the bison out there.
I think that's one of West Texas's best kept secrets is Caprock, because everybody goes to Palo Duro, and Caprock's not that much farther. But and I think it's well, they're both great parks. Don't get me wrong.
No.
My preference is Caprocks, though. You could potentially hike the whole thing in a couple of days.
It's got a great loop.
Yeah.
The guys were going to Fern Cave. From where we camped at, we were climbing that cliff face that goes up there. I only went so high, and I couldn't get my knee to bend up enough with this brace. No. So I went back to camp. I wasn't the only one that turned around, but yeah, I'm going to go back hopefully after I get this replacement surgery and do that sometime.
Yeah. Well, let me know when you do. Maybe I can meet you there.
That would be a great idea. Oh, speaking of, I do have a wild story.
Okay, let's hear it.
Speaking of YouTube meetups, it was year before last. Oh, it was at Llano River.
Okay.
Whatever it is down there. And the way we do this, we come in and just do a group camp the first night. And the second night, backpack into the primitive areas and camp. Well, so there was about 8 of us. I think it was about 8 of us in there. And we were camping. And one of the girls in our group came running into our camp spot, and we were all we had the whole backcountry campsite reserved, that camping area. He came running in there and said there's a man that's screaming that he's lost, and he says he's naked. I got up and I told the other person that was camped, we were like 2 to a campsite, to go get the guys and meet me over by Heather's camp. So I get over there and I ask her, where's he at? And she pointed back in there, and it's in those big old thick junipers. You know how they look with all the limbs coming up from the ground up?
Yeah.
Dead and all that stuff. Well, he's hollering. She said he's across the wash. And I said, well, I'll never be able to get over there to him with this knee brace. So I hollered out, and I said, just keep hollering and I'll follow your voice. So I'm bushwhacking through there, breaking off limbs and all this stuff until I can see him. And she was right. He only had a pair of sneakers on and had his Doberman with him. He was crouched down with the Doberman in front of his junk, and that Doberman was just.
Oh my God!
I start hollering, and the other guys get there. the other guys get there, and this guy, he doesn't have a lead on his dog, so. One of the guys with us goes, well, I'm going to go back and see if I can't find something that he could put around that dog so he can control it and we can approach him. They went back and got a piece of paracord and gave it to the guy. And come to find out, he came and does this every Thanksgiving to the same area. He had eaten some gummies and got real high and decided to take a walk out in the woods, in the bear.
Oh my gosh.
And got lost. And we asked him, Clint, one of the guys with us, one of our back YouTubers, said, "Well, how many of those did you eat?" And he said, "Well, I could see the bottom of the bag." So
Oh my gosh.
anyway, this guy was just high out of his mind. So someone got on the Garmin. We called the sheriff's department, got them out there, got the Texas Parks and Wildlife. The game warden came out and everything. And in the meantime, some others were looking for where his camp was at. The funny thing about it was, it was getting on. By the time this happened, it was already, like 5 o'clock in November in Texas. So dark is coming pretty quick. We're choking. I looked at Clint and I said, "Well, you're the only one that has because he was worried he was going to freeze to death." He goes, "I won't freeze to death." "You won't freeze to death, Clint. You got a big enough tent that you can buddy up with this." You can buddy up with this guy. And he's like, "No."
Oh my gosh.
So, anyway, we got to get some clothes for the guy. So Craig goes back and gets his brand new pair of leg warmers, his long johns that he got for his birthday, and had to give them to the guys. Anyway, to speed it up, we're worried that the reason why they had to get him kind of halfway closed, because an hour passed by. We couldn't hear anybody coming. So we thought we're going to have to walk him out of here. So anyway, four of the group started walking out with him, but they met the deputies coming up in a four-wheel. They came back. In the meantime, one of our other members of the group had found the guy's camp, his clothes, and a pistol. So we were like, we thought he might be up there getting ready to do away with himself.
Wow.
Anyway, they got him out of there. We had a good story to tell, and one of the deputies asked Craig if he wanted his long handles back.
Did he say no thanks?
He said no thanks. That was like $100 pair. I don't know if they were Patagonia or whatnot, but they were gone. They were gone. It was really a kind of a serious thing because, a guy that is that messed up in his mind and has a pistol, don't know what he was doing out there. He didn't have any food with him or just no food for his dog. We were worried for his safety. We were kind of worried he might be out there to do away with himself. But
well, I have to ask you, because I ask everybody this question. What does wilderness mean to you? I mean, did you grow up outside? Did your family have a real close connection to nature? How did you get started backpacking and spending time in nature? And what does that mean to you now?
Well, from as early as I could remember, my parents always went on summer vacations, 2 to 3 weeks. And we were always traveling to either like Canada, to the West Coast, to the Smokies, Florida, you name it.
And you did you grow up in Texas?
Yes. And Mom was real instrumental in instilling a love of nature and adventure. Both my parents were raised on farms in East Texas and Southeast Texas. So you know how that is. You got a backyard to explore, and it just becomes a part of you, the outdoors. And so they kind of gave that to me, and it was the mountains for me. So I moved up to the mountains for a while back in the 80s with work.
Okay.
And back then I wasn't into backpacking. Four-wheeling was it. I did that a lot, always in the San Juans. And I thought, gosh, why would you walk anywhere when you can drive there? But I always wondered what was off in the woods and over those hills that the roads wouldn't take you. But I never did do anything about it. And so then I got in a 35-year career in retail grocery management, and I couldn't get more than 1 week of vacation at a time. So I didn't get to do all those things for 30 some odd years, except took up fishing because I'd always done that with my grandpa and relatives, and then camping. I maybe get a camp, but not this. Just camping doesn't just satisfy my appetite. So when I retired, I've been retired since 2010. Was really kind of waiting around for Suzanne to retire so we could start traveling. I gained a lot of weight and got really unhealthy, and I got high blood pressure because of it. And my doctor just flat told me, he said, well, I went to get a tooth repaired, an abscess tooth, and they could at a specialist, and they couldn't do it because my blood pressure was so high. I went to the doctor, to a Care Now doctor. He was like, man, your blood pressure, you could have a stroke any minute.
Wow.
So I went to my wife's doctor, which is now our family care physician. And I'm lucky because all I've had to get to control that is a diuretic, and it works. But it's like, I've got to do something about this. It scared the bejeebies out of me. And that's when I started walking. Every morning when I got up. In the summer, I'd get up, go to the track, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I still wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. Never been able to beat that because of work. In the summer, I'd do it at 3 in the morning and would walk at least 3 up to 10 miles each morning. And I got into day hiking. I mean, that one led to the other. I like this walking. So I started doing day hikes in our local nature reserve. Got up to out there doing 12 to 16 miles a day out there. Well, within almost a year's time, I'd lost 115 pounds and got down to my high school weight of 149. Anyway,
that's incredible.
That led to me getting interested in backpacking. And then once I got confidence enough with that, got my kit broken and everything, because we had started going back on trips to Colorado, me and my wife. It's like, I want to get up in these mountains. And so I put my shoulder to the grindstone and did it. Man, if I hadn't just injured my knee, I've got, yeah. But anyway, you ask about what wilderness means to me. And this goes back before I ever started backpacking. Because I would go, even when I was young, I would wander off into the woods when we would go up there to camp and stuff and just sit on the side of a hill and just look over a valley with a creek running through it and everything. And so it just became a part of me. To me, wilderness is just a big part of my soul. I go there to quietness, to find quiet, solitude, wonder, and it's given me. I've learned gratitude, to be grateful for nature, and it's something that I don't want to lose. And I mean, I don't have children, but yes, all of the next generation and the next generation, they have every right to be able to experience this like we have.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so, yeah, I'm not really happy with a lot of things I see going on right now.
Me either.
But yeah, I don't know what I would do without nature. It's just it's so much a part of me. I mean, not nature, but just wilderness in particular. I seem to connect with wildlife more there. It's just different. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. That's a good answer. I think
also,
I fully relate to a lot of that myself.
Yeah, and and when I go to these places, I still see my parents there, and they've been passed. You know, my mom passed away in '86, and my dad passed away in 2010. You know, I just, when I go to Colorado, that's where we went a lot, and I still can feel them in those areas.
Yeah. So it's connection in more than one way.
Yeah, it's very spiritual to me.
Yeah.
It's just a spiritual connection. I don't know why I haven't moved to Colorado.
I know
or,
why I
or
haven't.
moved
It's
back.
expensive.
I couldn't handle the winters, but now it's different. It's different when you don't have to drive and
Yeah,
deal with the chain laws and stuff like that. But
right. Yeah, I still think I would love to have a cabin in the woods in Colorado somewhere, but I don't know if that'll
yeah,
ever happen. Parking the van in the woods in Colorado is probably as close as I'm gonna get.
well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong
I
with
don't
that.
think so either. I don't think so either. So does Suzanne ever go backpacking or day hiking with you?
She goes day hiking, but she enjoys her shower and bed.
Yeah,
So, and she's
can't blame her.
and she's great with that. I mean, she was just instrumental on my through hike attempt on the Colorado Trail. And we had a system set up. I supplied in town. I think I sent one resupply box to Bailey. But anyway, I had made a list with each resupply town, the top three possible places to stay by order of number one, which was the closest to a grocery store, a Walmart. And I had it listed like that. Which ones had offered laundry, which hotels or hostels and that stuff. And I did each town that way. And I had the phone numbers on there, the addresses, things like that. And the day before that I knew I was going to be getting into town, I'd message her on the Garmin and she would make the reservation.
Nice.
If the first one in, say, Breckenridge, I couldn't get in there. The next one I had was a hotel in Frisco or whatnot. And she would call, I didn't get my first choice of a hostel in Breckenridge, but I got a hotel in Frisco. And there was a Walmart right there. There was a Safeway right down the street. There's a laundromat. I would also have some towns set up which had a laundromat right as we entered town, or as I entered town, because that would be the first thing that me and the guy that hiked with me, Moose Pop, would want to do. We'd hit the laundromat, it cleaned up, and thankfully, all but two of these laundromats I used and everything had public showers in them.
Oh, nice.
So while you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for your laundry to get done, you could take a shower.
Nice.
And that was great. And then, of course, next thing is food and then lodging. Anyway, she was interested. I don't know what I would have done if it hadn't been for her helping out on that.
I was going to say, it sounds like you guys make a good team.
We've done that since. That's been the MO, how I'll tackle a long trail from now on.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
The CT, when I finish it, just have 53 miles left. I don't know if I'll do another long trail or just go back to I just love backpacking.
Yeah.
I would like to do, if my knee works out okay, and it's going to be like my specialist says it will be, you'll feel like your knee's 20 years old. I would like to go back and do from Lake City all the way to Ghost Ranch on the CDT.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I've even thought about starting at 114 above Gunnison, because I had no problem with the Cochetoba. I mean, I loved it, but that might be from backpacking in Texas, and I'm dealing with cow pond water is all I've known. If you don't drinking from cow ponds, you're not going to do a multi-day backpack.
You're not going to do much in Texas.
No, you're going to cache water or something.
Yep. There's no other way. Have you done the Arizona Trail? Because I hear that's like that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that long, but I don't get my hopes up. So, I mean, that's still more of a really long trail. And I've got places that I want to go, like Indian Peaks Wilderness. There's another couple of wildernesses in northern Colorado. I believe there's the Elk mountain area. Oh, my dream is to go do a long backpacking trip in the mighty Bob Marshall. If I can ever do that, I think I'll hit up Calman.
Is there a hike that would be your motivation for rehabbing the knee after the surgery? Like something that you would look forward to so much that it, keep your spirits up after your surgery?
Oh, finishing the CP. I didn't start it with the idea that I could possibly finish it.
I didn't either.
And if I don't ever finish those 53 miles, it's still a success because what I got from the trail.
Yeah.
I've got, there's so many different experiences.
Finishing isn't the point. Not always.
No, that's something, I already had been told that and kind of used that for excuses, and whatnot. But no, it's true. For me, it's true. For me, it's true. You ask what will be motivation, just going back to be able to backpack in the San Juan. I would be happy in life if I could just go back and do that once or twice a year.
Yeah.
I would be there, and particularly the Womenage. That's a spiritual place for me.
I think you will. You've got a lot of determination.
Yeah, I feel positive. When I fractured my arm in those three places, I had a backpacking trip planned for the 1st October in Big Bend, and I didn't get on PT, didn't get released to get on PT until sometime in August for that October. And I worked my butt off at PT and the stuff that I carried also to home when the things I needed to do there. The main thing was my range of motion in that arm. And I told my PT guy, I said, all I want to do is be able to sling a backpack on. And he didn't think I'd be able to. He goes, I don't know if you'll be able to do that by October 1st. Well, I was. October 2nd, I was climbing the Laguna Meadows Trail up to the South Rim. And so I can get pretty determined. And that's where that high tolerance of pain helps, is when you're doing recovery like that, doing PT.
So you can work through it.
You can work through it. Anyway, so I really am looking forward to the everything I've got to do post-surgery. That's a challenge.
I think it helps if you can see stuff like that as a challenge to be overcome. If that's something that motivates you.
That's no time to be goofing around.
That's going to make the difference between whether or not you can get back out there.
Yeah, just kind of goofing around, you might get to where you can you can definitely walk day to day on it and everything, but you might not be able to get out there and do through hiking or backpacking, stuff like that. Yeah. That takes it to another level. I'll be happy if I could just be able to walk right again, but that's my expectations. I don't believe they're too high. because what else am I going to do? Just sit around my butt? That's what we were talking about earlier about keep on moving motivate yourself to do that. I'm looking at it as if I'm not able to do my backpacking goals or walking and hiking, well, I might try bikepacking. Yeah. Definitely bike
ride. You gotta adapt.
And then as I get older, if I can't do that, well, there's always fishing.
That's true.
If I ever get to where I'm incapacitated, Suzanne can prop me up in the chair. Hey, I got people's YouTube videos. I can watch people hide what I used to and point and said, "Oh, I recognize that spot. I did that." Yeah. There's always that.
I'll be right there with you. I'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah,
half the time, that's why I record and make videos, so that when I'm 90 or whatever, I can watch it back and remember.
That's why I started it. I had friends. Yeah. I just took pictures of my trips, and I had some friends just ask me, "What is it you do?" all the time. I got tired of explaining it. I loved explaining it, but they would look like that, and so they called me in to start videoing it. And so my whole channels, it's not about the views, it's not about the subscriptions. It's for me and friends and family who asked me to start doing that.
Yeah.
I get people all the time, these guys want to show you how to make money. I get that all the time in messages. I'm sure you do too on Instagram, stuff like that. Or on my social media deals, and it's just like, look, I'm not interested in making money on this, and they don't know what to say. Like, nope, it's just for friends and family, and if somebody can learn from it, great. But that's not my primary reason for doing it. I look through my photographs, and I'm like, you have to be there to really experience it. But I think photographs are the next best thing. The videos, I watch my videos and other people's videos of it, and I see it as just, it's showing the process that you went through to take those photos. And I enjoy looking at my photos a lot more. But I've had other people tell me, like when I've posted my photos on social media, I had somebody tell me that, thanks for posting, doing your photo drop from this last year, because it enhances what you have on your video, and I understand it a lot more. I mean,
that's interesting.
I don't know what they meant by that. They said it filled out the question. And,
that's interesting.
Yeah, maybe I probably didn't show enough of the scenery on the videos that I captured.
Well, it's hard to show everything. It's really hard.
I'd have 200 miles left to do.
I know, right? Well, I guess we'll wrap this up, but I'll ask you one last question. What's your least favorite part about backpacking?
Probably cleaning my gear and putting it away afterwards.
Ah, that's a good one. I don't like doing that either.
I mean, okay with having, repairing stuff. It gets me a chance to get it out and mess with it. But yeah, cleaning out my pack. I'm not a lazy person, but man, I'll let that go. I mean,
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Right now, I'm looking in there. I can see it because it's clear. The backpack's still in there. My shoes are still in there. That I did take out the quilt and hang it up.
Okay.
And so I finally got around that. That took like 2 weeks, but I didn't do all this stuff until I was back in Colorado. And I've still got a box of food and stuff from that trip. So I'm set up for backpacking trips for this season. Knee problems or not. I have to go on a backpacking trip to eat it, because if I eat it, I'll gain weight. I just sit around and eat it.
Right.
Yeah.
I laugh a lot at the things like, okay, so I have lower back pain if I stand for too long. I have to laugh because, I go out and backpack hundreds of miles and don't complain about lower back pain, but standing, I'll complain all day about standing.
Or like, I see people gripe because they don't get hike thousands of miles and complain because they don't get the front row parking at the mall or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what?
Yep. It's all about where you're going, I guess, or where you are.
Frame of mind.
Well, Jerry, thanks for talking to me and being willing to do this. I appreciate it. It was a good chat.
It was. I had a great time.
And you'll have to keep me posted about your knee surgery. And
I will. I'm sure I'll post about it.
I'll be sending good juju.
Okay.
Well, it's time to get these switchbacks done.
Man, the flies are horrible this year at the sandbars.
Trail crews did amazing work. Oh, almost went down there. Pick up your feet, hashtag.